No. What is this middle one?
Yeah, this is the moon.
Yes.
This is the earth.
Yeah.
So when move and it block, shadow cannot see it. Dark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Binaya room or Tassim Binaya room. I think Binaya room. The teaching, because called Dol Binaya text. There it mentioned about the benefits. The His Holiness Church teaching Rinpoche, from whom His Holiness through the Satya Lambda teaching. Not only that, His Holiness Church Satya teaching, but through the many initiations. So many initiations from His Holiness Satya, His Holiness Church teaching Rinpoche. So Rinpoche referred to the volume, the Vinaya text. And Vinaya text mentioned that during the sun eclipse, but the eclipse is this is the translation eclipse. Translation eclipse, translation eclipse. That's not exact how it is in Tibetan. How it is explained in the scripture. Scripture by Buddha. It is not that, or explained is not that. Not that. That is only one chasar. So from the West, it's yes, they have their own way to explain eclipse like this. As what's your name? What is your name? Shambhala-san. Huh? Huh? Yeah. So the Yeah. So, a Tibetan language for that is Ninjin is not a translation of eclipse. It's a totally different meaning. Ninjin, Sanjin. So, like, Ninjin has it has its own, like animals, has its own enemy. Each animal has their own enemy, even insect. So like that, the sun, moon has its own enemy to dungeons captured. Zen is captured. So, Minjin, Sanjin, like that. I think, Dajin, then it's kind of like enemy, sort of captured. Minjin, Sanjin is not translation. It's not a translation of eclipse. No, totally different. So, Dajin, I think my mind is not, memory is not sure. So, Dajin, I think it's sort of enemy. So name is totally different. Never. Not like that. So, be attracted by so that so that's why during the anyway, what you explained is that during that time, during those hours, during those time, any virtue you do, any good action, any virtue you do increases 100 million times. You start with Vajrasattva mantra, million, 1 million procession, 1 procession, million, everything becomes million, even with charity. If you make charity to others, one rupee, $1, it becomes $100 million charity. $1 offering, it becomes $100 million offering. So, but during the Sanjin, or completely or part or something. So sometimes you can see here, but sometimes the world. You can see here, not the world. Yeah, you can't see here, but another world happens. Since another world, but not here, black or half, like you can't see it sometimes, like that. So anyway, moon, Sanjin, Danjin, Nijin, Danjin, Dawa is a moon, Danjin, Nijin is a, so Nijin is captured. The Nijin Ni is a Nima is a sun. So, so during the moon captured by Dajjal and so then the time any virtue you collect, it increases 700,000 times. Is mentioned one text, one basic scripture. Rinpoche used that text, Duolung, that. They maybe have the text. So, and the Rinpoche mentioned this during the eclipse, I say, Danjin, Ninjin. So during that time, why the virtues why the virtue increases during those times. So Rinpoche said that it affects your breath. So the effect of the outside planet is a change. It affects inner element, your inner element. So when through Roma running in Jangma other channel, then Roma the left. So the wind going through it never goes up into center channel. It affects the inner wind goes into center channel. So that's why breathing. So usually left nostril stronger or right nostril stronger or left nostril stronger or also like this. Uncertainty about 3 days. It generally changes after 3 days or something like that. But however, so then during that time it's equalized. It's equalized. No, there's no strong one, weak one doesn't happen. Both are same during that time. So Rinpoche said that. Because it affects Minjin, Zanjin, it affects the inner element. So wind goes through this channel. So because of that, then the virtue, if you call it virtue during that time, increases so much. And that means, Rinpoche did not say, but that means wind through, you see, 6 hours Narupa or, such like that, you see, trying to bring the wind to Roma, Jangma, through the center channel. Shubha is the inter, Ruma, Shu, Ne. So then, Shubha, then Neba was abiding. Yeah, Timba means absorption, so the 25 absorption at the death time, at the death time happens, and then the person who is doing the graduate completion stage, and then you see through meditation, by training the mind in that, then able to enter the wind from the Jangma and Roma into the center channel, should then abide. Sign of entering is the wind from your nose balanced, like the sunlight was moved to its time, balanced. Then abiding, then the stomach doesn't move. Sign of abiding, the wind doesn't move. So then the 25 absorptions during the meditation. What happened at that time? During the meditation. The person will train mind in 6 hours, Narupa, like that. Then 25 absorption, the absorption happens. Then you actualize the subtle mind. Gross, subtle, because gross mind, subtle mind, extreme subtle mind. Then actualize, then so able to meditate. Able to meditate to the see emptiness. Incubus meditation, or you see, one pointedly meditate in the emptiness. So like that. So Kailash meditation. So you're able to have experience Kailash meditation. So that. So those meditative great meditators are those who are able to bring the wind into center channel. So they without the Sanjin, Minjin, without that, then they would collect sand, one-handed. Any virtue you do increases 100,000 times. So they collect unbelievable merit. So whatever virtue you do increases so much. Unbelievable. So you can understand Rinpoche's explanation during the Sanjin Minjin. What happens to your wind in effect. So that happens not through meditation, just by the effects. So then those who train the mind, the elements, the Sisyohanarapa, something like that. So they would, whoever bring the wind into its channel, then who's unbelievable, those great yogas, wow, they made it able to collect. Unbelievable, you know. I mean, every minute, whatever virtue they collect. So, I did notice, I don't know, I'm not sure, my own experience maybe when, I don't know, I mean, I have to check more precise in the time. Maybe one is dark, this part of the world, maybe, so wind is your north wind is balanced. So, but this part of the world that doesn't have the Yinjin, Sanjin, you don't see this part of the world. Even other part of the world see, but this part of the world doesn't see. So, that time maybe not balanced. You are true breath. I'm not sure. I have to check. Yeah, I did see myself the wind balanced. I did see during the eclipse. I think it was recent. Sometime those sun Yinjin and Sanjin. That's I think maybe sun. I did see myself balanced the two wind like that. So that's the effect. So it's I saw myself that, and how that I can't say. So it is the affect your inner elements. So that's so because so there's a different view. There's a different view. There's a different view. As His Holiness accept. As His Holiness accept what scientifically mentioned. Yeah, so that's the main thing. That's the main thing. So, I agree with the scientist. What is a scientist or the other plan? What do you call it? The trust about
astrology.
Yeah, astrology, that's Western astrology. As themselves went to the moon and they didn't go at the sun, no, moon. America went, and Russia went. Huh?
Only Americans have landed on the moon.
Russia went, but it burned. Russia they went, but it burned. What do you call this? It got burned. They tried to go, but burned. So that's what I know.
Americans ever landed on the moon.
Huh? I think Sulukumbo Sherpas went on the moon.
Only Americans are Chinese and the
What?
Only Americans are Chinese and the Sherpas.
So, yes, yeah, his son is accept. His son is accept. Yes. Yeah, that's a different concept, a total different concept. So things may take time. Discovery, they discover a channel in the TV. So there's always a discovery channel in TV. The scientists, they used to say there's no sentient being in the moon, on the moon. There's no sentient being. Moon or one planet, moon, I think, another planet. Before they used to say there's no sentient being, but before, there's a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, people left from the United States. They discovered there is a creature. There is a creature on the moon. Oh, there's another moon, another star. Huh? Huh? Mars, yeah, Mars. They discovered the sentient beings. So things do change. Before they accept no sentient being, no creature. But after a long time, change. Scientifically, change is happening. Change happening. Change it as the check more. So the slowly, that there's a change happening. Slowly, discover more. Like discover channel. You see, they see things more. You see what they believe before not possible, then later possible. Also, like that happens more. So it's very interesting. So it's a learning. It's very interesting. Learning. So what they believed before, no, not change. No, not that. So like that happened gradually. So it's very interesting. What's it? So, that. Yeah. So you see, during that time, then you see, generally collect some, perform and creating virtue during those times. So there's kind of common like that. So Ninjin Sasin is kind of captured, by enemy sort of captured. So it doesn't have the kind of translation of clips. It doesn't have that. So if it's just clips, what to worry about that? What's affecting to your inner element, and then why it won't happen that. So anyway, changes happening, taking time, the more they check gradually what they said before and changing, and so that happening like that. So it's one of the what a scientist, what astrology, or whatever they proved, they went to the moon and I don't know if that was maybe the same height as Abhidhamma Kosha explained in text, So anyway, so he's supposed to accept. Accept or after the moon. So I remember during that time, His Holiness, there was an article from His Holiness, maybe people checked with His Holiness. His Holiness said, agreed, they went to the moon, but also explained in the ancient time, Indians, ancient Indians, the explanation. Indians' explanation was different from that. So it did explain. I saw the newspaper. So that's all.